I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all think I just be, oh, I still got some. It's all you need, baby. Get you this tea. Moringa. What I put in here? Moringa, elderberry, burdock root, sour salt leaves, and there's one more. Did I say elderberry? Anyway, it's all you need.
Now, you got all this calamity on the planet. Now, this movie ain't came out yet, but I'm going to give a brief synopsis because I already know that the Fantastic Four is basically talking about the four basic elements. And the four basic elements, which is earth, air, water, and fire, right? And those things collaborate with ether, which is associated with planet Mercury, which is why you see the Silver Surfer in the background, because the Silver Surfer is a form of quintessence. Quintessence is the dodecahedron. The dodecahedron that squares the circle when it collaborates with the four basic elements that's equated to the Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic Four are actually the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And the Silver Surfer is the messenger of the apocalypse. But the Silver Surfer is actually the embodiment of the 144,000, which is us, the chosen ones, who speak a certain truth from the heart. That's why the heart chakra is associated with Mercury. Mercury is associated with Thoth. Thoth is us. That's the spirit of Melchizedek that I keep telling people about. You got to understand this. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. They put it in the movies. The movies are nothing but they're nothing but dog whistles. They're telling you what time it is through the movies, but you got to understand the symbolism. If you don't understand the symbolism, you don't know what the fuck time it is. You thrown off, right? Pay attention to nature and pay attention to the movies. And from time to time, read some books. There's nothing wrong with reading books. Do not listen to 607 There's nothing wrong with reading books, because what books does, what books basically do, it activates your Akashic records. It helps you remember. Books is nothing but weightlifting for the brain. That's all it is. Because you got to be balanced when it comes to this knowledge and information and spirituality. You can't just be so fixated on spirituality that you're not doing the mental work, right? Because the books is what helps you remember. It activates the subconscious mind to where you're able to become a god. Just like in the movie Limitless, he said it works better. When you take the pill, he said it works better if you're already smart. That's exactly what he said. The pill works better if you're already smart. So if you're already intelligent and you're reading these books and you got these coronal mass ejections coming down to the planet, what you think is going to do to activate your genetics? What you think is going to do when it activates your Akashic records? Because you're basically programming your DNA with the information inside the book. But the information from the cosmos is a filtering process. It's going to filter out the bullshit, and it's only going to keep in the information that's basically going to help you harmonize and help you tap into your higher self. So I think I got another video for you guys. Because when you have the ability and the intuition to see beyond the dualistic paradox, that's when you become a god. That's where a human becomes God in the golden age. So this is why it's not a coincidence that they came out with this movie during the time of the Gemini-Uranus conjunction. It's all talking about Christ consciousness, right? So one thing you got to understand that, Superman draws his energy from the sun, right? Because the carbon body in itself is photovoltaic. It has the ability to transmute gamma radiation into energy. Gamma radiation into electricity, antimatter, which is the activation of non-ether. So a solar flare is a burst of cosmic energy. That burst of cosmic energy is going to activate that Kundalini serpent that strikes the pineal gland, which turns you into a form of a Christ, right? There's a crystal city inside, Superman's headquarters, but the crystal city is inside your brain. Because like I said, when you have the non-noble gases, carbon, lithium, sulfur, helium, hydrogen, exon, radon, argon, and krypton. Krypton has a pheromone, and that pheromone has a gas. That gas is actually a form of ether, and that ether harmonizes with the crystals. The crystals in the brain is what activates the olfactory nerve. The olfactory nerve is where it helps you unravel the junk DNA that's basically inside the Bathari gland, right? The Bathari gland that's connected to the hippocampus layer of the brain. That's where you get all your spiritual gifts from. Levitation, clairvoyance, pyrokinesis, hydrokinesis, all that stuff. You can do all that by way of the activation of the minds. That's why I said a solar flare is the limitless pill, a symbol for unlocking human potential, heightened awareness, memory, focus, intuition, right? This is all talking about your DNA. You can basically become Superman. But like I said in the movie, they're telling you about the Metatronic overlay, and they want to keep you stuck inside of a dark pocket universe. They want to keep you stuck here by way of the nanosites. The nanosites is what connects you to the asteroid belt or the Van Allen belt when you're talking about light code lockdown. They want to keep you here to keep you encased in time. They want to keep you trapped in a box. When you break out of the box, that's when you become the God, right? And that's what they're afraid of. So that's why I say you have to keep your energy high. And then you also had about 2,000 NASA employees resign for no reason, right? Reasons unknown. Not a coincidence. So I'm going to give a brief synopsis and a rundown over the transmission. Now, the dome in itself, like I was telling people, the dome is basically the firmament. The firmament was created by the God of the Bible, who was also known as the devil. And it's also in the Gnostic text, he is also known as Yadabaoth, who is also associated with Yahweh, which means agreeable and disagreeable. So that means that the God of the Bible separated the intergalactic waters from the third dimension and created the firmament. The firmament is a spiritual cutoff. So now you're being trapped by time. When you're trapped by time, that means you're trapped by the matrix. When you're trapped by the matrix, that means you're being trapped by Saturn and the moon, because Saturn and the moon is the external hard drive of the planet Earth. It's a quantum satellite to keep you stuck in an artificial time analysis mechanism. They want to keep you stuck in time to suck up microscopic waves of energy from your body and upload it to the supercomputer on the dark side of the moon that controls the binary code system of the matrix. They want to keep you here because, like I said, it's an energy extraction, because the moon is nothing but an artificial portal for reincarnation purposes, right? So the energy of the sun has the ability to manipulate the Metatronic overlay. Neutrinos collaborating by way of tachyon energy is creating plasma bubbles over the pyramids of Giza over in Egypt. And plasma creates portals, and portals manipulates the space-time continuum. And when the space-time continuum is manipulated, that's when the sky starts to fall. But it's happening by way of, three different energies of enlightenment: instinct, intuition, and reasoning, right? Those are the elements of the soul that's connected to it. And the more we start to wake up, the more things is going to happen. Pay attention to nature, pay attention to the animals. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to you guys for a second. My apology for the other night. I will not be hosting no more, debates on my channel. And like I said, it was one of those things where I was using my platform, for 607 and for Phase to get things off their chest. And I had a couple things that I wanted to address with, 607, but it wasn't one of those things where I was trying to debate them. It was one of those things where they had the dialogue and, in order to get clarification for the audiences or whatever. And unfortunately, like I said, the video got removed. So never doing that again. And I also got something coming up with Yaki Awaken this month, July the 29th. He keeps moving stuff around, but like I said, he's a very, very much a busy man. He's a doctor and everything, a licensed doctor, and he's, doing all types of, holistic healing, and he has a lot of stuff to do. So I'm very grateful for him to, think of me while he's doing all these things, and he's, in the process of still being on tour as well. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. But in order to escape the demiurge, you have to get your power back. You get your power back by taking your time back. You take your time back, that's when you become a god. You can't become a god by serving somebody else, serving a system, going to work and things of that nature. Take your time back. Take your power back, right? This is the time you're supposed to be creating, right? That's what makes you a god. See, the archonic forces, they're ruler gods. They're not creator gods. So this is why they use artificial intelligence to extract our essence, because we can create. So you have to create a system for you to where it puts you in a state of evolutionary forms of mastery. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching this video. End of transmission.
And you get into a feeling that which you are communicating within, that it is already a hard and objective fact, because you understand that thoughts become things, and you understand that you are actually a mass of energy, and you can transmute your energy into the equivalent of money or whatsoever you desire in this physical three-dimensional world. And because you have knowledge of the inner working of alchemy, you realize that you are working with the alchemical substance to create your reality consciously. Okay? So, when I say you must commune with your own heart upon your bed, it is giving you this bedtime secret to teach you that how you go to bed each night and how you awake is what is shaping your entire life. And that is why the church make sure they program you from a little child to become an idiot, thinking that some man gonna come from the sky to save you. And so at night before you go to bed, your parents who are dumb, they would make you go on your knees and speak to some entity outside of yourself. And so they program you to have a religious and a superstitious mindset. And because of epigenetics that pass down from generation to generation, and then when that passes down from generation to generation, you end up being owned by the banks and the credit unions. Yet you still send some man coming to save you. That is why the religious community have never done anything to raise the consciousness and the awareness of the society. That is why the societies that have been trapped in secular Christianity, they live on charity. And those who set up this system to keep you so blind and dumb, they rule over you. And the borrower is always a slave to the lender. And the rich will always rule over the poor. But I'm teaching you how to get rich. And I'm not asking you for any tithes or any offering. Because I'm teaching you that in you is a currency. In you is the power that they use to print money. Do you realize that money was first a thought? It was first an idea. It was first imagined. And no book can be written. And it wasn't first a thought or first an idea or first imagined. So the people who are so delusional, who are reading the Bible and fail to realize that this is mind science, they're so dumb that they would open their mouth to try to tell me that I am wrong and failing to realize that a word is the expression of a thought.
Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're going to talk about chaos energy and what is it? Come on, check it out. So being a suit for energy, we are able to access and tap into and already have different facets of energy. You can tap into the energy or emotion or energy emotion of love, hate, joy, laughter, sadness, madness. But there's an energy that encompasses all those energies that exists primarily within the neuromelanated community, especially within the divine feminine of the neuromelanated community. And that doesn't mean that other people aren't able to tap into it as well. Because this is such a powerful, potent energy, they have to be ready. They have to be able to access this amount of energy. When you break down the etymology of the word chaos, it means the primeval or ancient emptiness of the universe. It means void. It means abyss. You can also relate this to the creation story in the Bible in Genesis talking about the darkness. So in a sense, it's ancient nothingness, right? But let's continue to break down the word chaos. When you break down the word chaos, C-H-A, which will be K or Ka, Where do we know Ka from? We know the vibration Ka from Cometicism. Ka in Cometicism means life force energy. So what does Os mean? When you look at Os as a suffix, it means having something. So when you look at the grand totality of that whole thing, chaos energy would be the primeval emptiness of the cosmos that is nothing but still has the possibilities of something. Understand this power, y'all. Omnistand this power. Chaos energy is an energy or a field that you can tap into. Complete nothingness to create endless possibilities of somethingness. Chaos energy is destruction, but it's also creation, rebirth, and transformation. See, the neuromelanated mamas innately knew that they had this ability. What they always used to say, I done brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. Y'all just innately know this ability that y'all have. And y'all really don't even be realizing the things that y'all be saying. That's why I'm so adamant on pushing the divine feminine to really step into their power holistically. Not just one side. You have to be a middle path or goddess. Talking to the guys too, because we have this chaos energy as well. But the majority of us are more so on the destructive side of this chaos energy. But it needs to be in harmonization, it needs to be in balance. So you can look at this chaos energy, this pure, dark, etheric energy, as a supreme subconscious being. God, right? The primordial waters of thought and consciousness that is so dark it became clear. It's just like how you look into water, right? And when you look down in the water is dark, but you can see your reflection clear as day. This chaos energy is also the black dot, the black sun, the neuromelanin, because your neuromelanin can also encompass all forms of light, frequency, and energy, and then reconstitute it in an alchemic way. But all the fear that the gods and goddesses is running around with, tap into your chaos energy and alchemize it. All your fears, all your doubt, all your dreams, all your aspirations. Tap into the void that exists within you, where everything non-exists to exist, Ashe.
And the government knows this. The government knows that when these motherfuckers hit 100%, there is no peace. It's war, chaos, and destruction. They understand and know this. So what they're trying to do is get the masses to take the jab, get the masses to fall victim to this system and not awaken to who they are before it's too late, because they know once the carbon beings of this planet, the indigenous, the motherfuckers who really own and protect this realm, the true rulers, it's over. They know when we hit 100%, cuz it's not all peace. Because let me tell you something, when you hit 100% and you activate 100% of your DNA, do you realize all your memory gonna come back? You gonna remember all the shit that these motherfuckers have done to you for eons. Think about that. Remember, you already know what these people have done to you. But guess what? When you came here through the womb portal, your memory was wiped. But guess what? Your memory is going to come back. All your DNA, all your talents, gifts, skills, superpower abilities, whatever you want to call it, is going to come back online. Also, your memory. Look, you thought this human experience was something, however old you are.
Even when self looks at you and self doesn't even recognize you, and you is you, and me is me, and me is you, and you is me, don't even recognize each other. But somehow, some way, self that doesn't knows, but self that does, but self that doesn't knows, just have some type of gut, keyword, gut, our first brain, feeling. So, but if you don't know self, you ain't gonna know that's one of your little accessories to this vessel. The light body touch with the physical body. Gifts and weapons are merged in together. We is the technology, but we wasn't programmed to learn to know this. That's why they had you focus on their curriculums. They had to indoctrinate you with his story, not history, his story. English language can mean many words, many things. Why they playing games with us? But you can wake up, take the red or blue pill, and be like Neo in this Matrix and use everything around you. Physical and spiritual, materialistic and goddamn conscious. Transmute all that shit and create your own reality on this motherfucker. Or like some of the other ones and said, create your own fucking heaven on earth. You know what I'm saying? Shit. They got us fucked up. They really got us fucked up. And they know they got us fucked up. Now, I ain't talking about fucked up like lost and all that shit. I know majority of us is. I ain't talking about that fucked up. I'm talking about fucked up because they know what they dealing with. We is the 666. We is the beast. We is the electrons, the protons, and the neutrons. We is carbon. Carbon is melon. Melon is carbon. Carbon makes melon. Melon is condensed sunlight. We are the light beings. We are the light bringers.